Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US, and I'm here bringing you a special live today. I normally don't go live on Saturdays or whatever, but I don't have a consistent one. Sometimes I do. Anyways, I thought I would surprise you all, and we're going to do a special live because I have cards to share, and I thought it'd be fun to show them in video format rather than just writing down the directions and information that way in my blog posts. These are really fun cards. They're using the new color line. We have color lines called In Color, and basically it's the latest colors. That's why they call them In Colors, and they're the latest trendy colors. Stampin' Up! Changes and adds in a new set of 5 colors every year. And so I thought I would introduce those to you. If you haven't seen past videos where I've shared them, you'll want to check them out. I think there was one on March 19th. I think that was the date. I do have a link for that in my blog post that's connected to this video, so you can check that out. But it takes those colors and compares them with current and past Stampin' Up! Colors. And you can see that they are different, even though when you look at them at first glance, you're like, oh, wow. But yeah, 4 out of the 5 of them are new colors. One of them, Pretty in Pink, is a returning color. So that's why it might look familiar to you. But I'm going to show those to you right now. So let's go to the desktop real quick. And as I am bringing you to the desktop so you can see them, I want to introduce to you Trisha Josephs and Lisa Marshall. They have taken time out of their weekends to come and be my moderators. So a special big thank you to them for helping out again today. We love you guys. So let me tell you, it is May 18th, 2024 at 11 a.m. as I'm coming to you live. Comment away. We want to hear how you're doing. Maybe you have some plans this weekend and you're taking a quick break. I'd love to hear what's happening at your place. So comment away. Let's have fun with this. Let me think if there's anything else I want to do before I start to introduce to you these colors. So if you haven't seen them yet, they're gorgeous. They're like ice cream colors in my mind. We have Petunia Pop. We have Pretty in Pink, that's the returning one, Summer Splash, Shy Shamrock, and Peach Pie. These ink pads, these markers in the same colors, the pack of designer paper, 6x6 designer paper, and an assorted pack of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. By the way, some are missing from these. These are offered free this month. And how do you get them free? Well, you get the starter kit. And the starter kit basically gets you on the demonstrator side of things. You have the ins before other people. You know what's going on. You get to do pre-orders. You get to order at a discount. You have the option to sell, but you don't have to. Most demonstrators, I heard a number, a percent that was like in the 90s somewhere at one point. Most demonstrators, quote unquote, do not demonstrate. They just do this for the discount. So it's totally fine if you want to get the kit just to be in on all of the fun stuff and get the discount. And Stampin' Up! Is offering that kit at this time. Now you certainly can do some selling, have some classes, do parties and that sort of thing, but it's optional. So $82 worth of stuff is free. Sorry, not that marker. These markers, these ink pads, this pack of paper, and this pack of assorted cardstock. I'm going to set these aside for a minute. I'm going to quickly bring you over to my computer, and I'm going to show you how to access the flyer for that information. And then we're going to move on and we're going to actually create some cards today. So this is the flyer that talks about the starter kit. It's the best kit all the time. You get up to $125 worth of product in the US for only $99 plus tax. The shipping is free. And here you can see that's the stuff that's being added on. If you go to my blog at stampyourartout.com and you click on blog, or you click on any of these posts, like here's the post that's related to the video today. If you scroll down to the bottom, it talks about, and there's the cards, aren't they fun? It talks about the special going on, so you can click there for more information. Okay, so let's go back to my desktop, and I think I have, here we go. Let's show you this next. So this is the PDF that's connected to the blog post. I let the blog post go live earlier today. So if you are coming to my live because you saw the blog post and you're like, oh my gosh, she's going live today. It was my way of like saying a special announcement. Hello, I'm going to be live. So I hope that you got that invitation. I hope that you're joining us because of that, or because you had some other notice, maybe on Facebook or something. But welcome, welcome. And if you're new to my channel and you're just popping on by accident, I hope that you stay tuned. I'm going to show you how to make these fun fold cards. I got the idea. Well, I was inspired, I should say, because I've seen these before, but I was inspired by a swap card that I got from one of my team members, Lori Calise, and I'm going to show you that card. And so I made versions of it using the new In Color stuff. So there's the measurements, the supplies. The supplies are clickable. Again, this PDF is available as a download so that you can access it on my website and print it off or just keep it in an electronic file or whatever. All right, here we go. So here's the card that Lori made and gave in the swap. You can see the way the fold folds. Now, I've always used like 12 by 12 cardstock, but she got smart. She put an extra panel of gray over the top so that you can't see that this is a shorter version. So she used 11 inches. I love that. She's got a couple panels of designer paper on there. She's using the sand dollars. Beautiful country woods paper. I'm just in love with that. So let's go ahead and start. I'm also going to be using, besides the In Colors, I'm going to be using the Friends for Life bundle. So that includes the Friends for Life stamp set and the Friends for Life dies. The reason why I chose these, and you could choose really any stamp set that has sentiments or imagery that you like, but the reason why I chose it is because the designer paper, which I set back here, the designer paper has leaves that look very whimsical and similar to these. You can see that design in there. And I just thought that would be fun. But you actually have 4 different designs for each color. So you have your design of leaves and circles, and then you have your designs of stripes. And then I'm not sure what that other pattern is. It's different. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like different, I don't know. Here, I'll hold it up higher. Maybe you guys can describe it. But it's fun, and it's just kind of a lighter look, fainter lines. So we'll be using these 2 sides, and I'm going to choose my favorite color, which is the Summer Splash. Although when we took a vote at the onstage convention that we had in March, when we got to access these colors for the first time, most demonstrators liked the Petunia Pop the best. This one came in second, just wanted to let you know. So I'm choosing the second favorite from that vote, but it's my favorite. I love blues and greens. Okay, so we're gonna use our cardstock in the Summer Splash, and we're gonna cut down to, and actually let's do the gray first. Let's do the gray because the gray is the base. So this is basic gray cardstock, and we're gonna cut it in half. So this is 11 inches. We're going to cut it in half at 5.5 inches, and then we're going to rotate, and we're going to cut this in half again. So if this is 8.5 in this direction, we want to go to the 4.25 inch mark. And I'm using my dark blade to cut, and my light blade will be a scoring blade, which we'll use on the white. So we can set that aside and make plenty more cards with it, right? So here we have our base. The next piece that we need is our colored cardstock, and I'm choosing, again, the Summer Splash. This time we're going to cut it a little bit smaller because you can see on the finished card that we are 1/8 of an inch difference all the way around. So that means we have to go in 1/8, 2/8, which is 1/4 inch, so that we have that difference on both sides. We're going to cut at 5.25 inches. We'll rotate, and we'll do the same thing. Instead of cutting in half and at 4.25, we're going to go in 1/4 inch. So that brings us to the 4 inch mark. And now we have a 4 inch by 5.25 piece, which layers on here really well with that 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Okay, we'll move these aside. And now we're going to bring in our white cardstock. Hang on a minute. Dropping things. I have plenty of table space in here, but for some reason I always run out. I'm just going to cut this real quick here too, just in case I decide to do something with it. Okay, so for our white cardstock, you're going to use 11 inches. Now you could use 12 if you want to have a piece that extends all the way, but I'm using 11 because it tends to be the cardstock size that we have on hand most of the time, right, when we're card makers. We're going to cut it for, to 3 inches wide by 11 inches tall. And actually, it's going to go the opposite. It's going to be 3 inches tall by 11 inches wide. Okay, so we need that piece. We're going to keep this, set that aside because we'll need some more of that. In fact, I think we need some more of the gray, so I will bring that back. But now we're going to score. We want a piece that is 3 by 4 for the center part here, kind of the base part, 3 by 4. So we're scoring at 4 inches, and that's making this section 3 inches tall by 4 inches wide. We want this section to be the same size. So we're going to move it down, extend the arm of our trimmer, and we're going to move it down to 8 inches. But because I'm kind of picky, I like to flip my cardstock over and score that way. And the reason why I'm scoring that way is because when I fold my cardstock, I like to fold towards the mound of the crease, and I'll show you that in a minute. So I'm scoring at 8 inches now. And then this last section is 3 inches wide, which is fine. On a 12-inch paper, you'd have it 4 inches wide. So do you see that little mound there? This is the mountain. This is the valley of the score. I like to fold towards the mountain. I just think it helps with the fibers and it helps the cardstock creases look smoother. So that's the reason why I flipped it over. Okay, so we have our 4 by 3 piece that's going to layer on here. Now let's do some more gray. I'm going to bring the gray back. And it's in this stack somewhere. Oh no, I put it over there. Okay, here it is. So here's the gray. And we're going to cut, this is my other half. Here's my, or quarter. Here's my first quarter, here's my second quarter. We're going to cut this one down, but we're going to make it a little bit bigger than 3 by 4. We're going to go 3 1/8. And I think Lori on her card did 3 1/4. She made her base a little bit bigger here. I'm doing 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. So just 1/8 of an inch beyond. Like that. Okay? So when you look at it like this, you can see it layers up real nicely like that. Okay? So we want that piece, and we want that piece because it's going to cover up the shorter section of the white. The other piece that we need with the gray, and I don't think this is going to be big enough. No. Well, it's probably just the right size. We need a, yeah, it's a little bit too small. So I'll grab this piece here, but you could grab any other scrap in your craft room. And we're going to punch a circle that is 2 3/8 inches in diameter. So those are our gray pieces. More for our white we need. Okay, here's the leftover white that we have. And we need to now take and create 2 more pieces with it. We're going to create a piece that fits our die. So here's our die piece. And we also need to have this size circle punched out of it. So I'm just going to lay those down like that because I want to make the most of this and not waste too much. And I'm just going to cut it. Looks like 2 1/2 inches, maybe a little bit more. 2 3/4 inches should do it. So we'll do a 2 3/4 inch scrap here. We can punch from part of it, and then we can die cut from the rest. Okay, so let's grab our die cutting machine, and we're going to die cut our leaves, I should say. All right, let's bring that in. My desk is getting full, you guys. There's too much stuff on it. I'm going to clean for just a second here. Okay, here's the machine. We have a big version and we have a small version of this. This is the Big Boss. We have one called the Mini Boss. It's not actually called the Mini Boss. It's called the Mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss Machine, but nicknamed Mini Boss. I want to say, oh, I don't remember who said that initially, but I really like the idea of it. Okay, so the idea of the name, I should say. Okay, I want to tell you this too before I get going. We have platform number 1, die adapter number 2, and then we have a cutting plate. And I should have gotten my less scratchy looking one. This looks kind of horrible, but they're going to get scratchy over time. And then we have another cutting plate on top. So our paper and our dies are sandwiched between the two cutting plates. And we're just going to crank it like that. And now we have our cutout leaves. Okay, I'm going to move this back to my desk back here. Oh my gosh, I have drawers open back here too. All right, and we're just going to tap that a few times to see if it'll come out of there. If not, I'll use my pokey tool. My take your pick tool, and we'll just kind of get that going there. There we go. Okay, so there is our branch of leaves. We're going to trim this. We're going to trim it trim it in half, I should say, right at this spot here. And then we're going to trim this leaf. We're looking at the left leaf as I trim, and we're following that curve. Okay, so now we have 3 little sections that we're going to add to the card. And let's see, what else do I want to show you or get prepared? Oh, we got to do the designer paper. Let's prepare the designer paper. And then I think we have all of our pieces cut except for some stamping to do and some assembling. This is a very quick card to put together. I made one and then I cranked out the other 4 after I designed the first one. These are scraps from my full 6x6 piece. And one of the pieces, and we'll get, again, look at the finished card. One of the pieces is 3x4, okay? It fits perfectly on this 3 1/8 by 4 1/8 piece. So we can leave that one as is. It's the same measurement as this folded up, 3x4. But the other piece, I wanted to have a little bit of white showing. So on my other piece, I trimmed down. Now you can see it's about 1/16 of an inch on all 4 sides. So what I did is I made my other piece 1/8 of an inch smaller in those directions. So that's, let's grab the trimmer. So I cut that one down 1/8 of an inch, and I'm going to zoom in because we are crafting very far away right now. Okay, so here's the 4-inch mark. I went to the 3 7/8 inch mark to make it slightly smaller, which means we're going to go to the 2 7/8 inch mark on this piece. Okay, so we have our 2 layers ready to go. And, oops, oh, I'm just throwing things left and right. And the last thing I want to cut, oh my goodness sakes, I might need those, so I got to pick them up. The last thing I want to cut is this circle. So we want to cut this in half, and I'm just eyeballing it. There are, I should say, measurements on each side of your channel of your trimmer here. So if I just scoot this over a little bit, I can see that it's right there in the halfway point between these 2 marks. These 2 marks are the 2 1/2 inch marks, okay? So I want to put them between there. I'm holding them down, holding this still, and cutting. And now I have 2 1/2-inch circles. You want to get them as close to the halfway point as possible, but it doesn't have to be super exact. Now we'll stamp, and then we'll assemble. So we're going to have our card open like this. We want to stamp this middle portion, and we want to stamp this circle. I'm going to bring in the stamps for the sentiments. We have the thinking of you, and we have the love you. And those are this stamp here and this one here. And you can see I got a 2-tone effect on the, there we go, on the love you. So we're going to do that same trick. And the way that I did that was with the ink pads. So I'm going to bring in the basic gray and the summer splash. So far we've used the cardstock, the designer paper, and the ink pads from the special $82 free deal. We're opening up our 2 ink pads, and I'm going to start with the light color, and I want that to be on the bottom half of the word love you, so you can see what I did there. I just inked up the bottom half, and I'm starting with the light because if I mess up and I get the ink too high, or cover too much of the words, I'm only adding light ink to a dark ink pad instead of the opposite. So then we'll go in with our darker ink, our gray, our basic gray, and we'll tap the top half of the words. Okay, so now I have a two-toned sentiment. We'll eyeball our score lines here so we know halfway between. We'll stamp that down in the middle. This is where you would sign your card, okay? So now you can see the blues and the greens there. I'm sorry, the blues and the grays there, okay? Let's do the same thing with the other piece, or the other stamp. So on this one, I imagined the of you being inked up halfway. So I ink it up like that. Same thing where I'm getting the ink on the bottom portion. Can you see that? The bottom portion of the of you. Tilt it my way for a minute. Okay, and then we'll take the gray pad and we'll ink up the top portion of the stamp, the thinking, and then a little bit of the of you up on top there. Okay, and that's going to get stamped in the middle of the circle, like so. We actually have one other stamp that we're bringing in. So now you can see that beautiful look there. Very fun. We have one other stamp that we're bringing in because this we're creating into a leaf pattern background, and we'll be using the leaf image from that stamp set. Let's say you wanted to use the designer paper, like maybe you wanted to use the stripes instead. You could put hearts on the background instead, right? You don't have to have the leaves on this finished card. In fact, you could use any designer paper that's monochromatic to get this same kind of look, right? So I'm going to use the leaves and the coordinating ink. And if you're new to paper crafting and stamping, just know that when you have cardstock and ink in the same color, it's not going to disappear when you stamp it in there, okay? They're meant to coordinate with each other, so this will just deepen the color of the cardstock. So here we go. We're going to stamp randomly. And randomly actually isn't real random when you don't want your images to touch. If you don't want them to touch and you want them to be side by side, then you kind of have to plan it out. And I like to think in triangles. So 1, 2, 3. And now I have these two images here, and I'm going to put another one between them somehow like that. And then I don't know, I could just, because I don't really need to fill in the center because it's going to get covered, I'm now just going to go maybe right here, maybe like this with the next one. And then, oh, let's just do one that's kind of like that. Okay, now I have another section of 1, 2, and I'm going to stamp a little bit in there just to fill that in. And then we'll come over onto the side here. And we'll do another side piece. Again, the middle is going to get covered, so this connection here is not going to be a big deal. We'll put a leaf there, and maybe like that. We're coming where they're going to connect, okay, where they're going to meet up with each other. So I want to be a little more careful as I come in to that section. And what I did wrong on one of my cards is I worried about just this section. What you want to do is start filling in up here too, okay? It'll help to make everything transition a little bit better. So let's just go like that and then like that, okay? See how I filled that to connect those? And now all I have to do, whoops, I'm getting messy, is come in and kind of fill in these spaces like so. And now we have an evenly spaced but random design, and I'm going to have to clean my fingers, grabbing some tissue here. My block was getting very messy. Hey, I didn't lick my finger this time. You guys proud of me? Sometimes, well, because it's non-toxic ink, sometimes I just lick my fingers to try to clean it up. Okay, there we go. We'll just move that off to the side. I don't encourage you to eat your ink. I'm not saying that, but just know that it's non-toxic. You'll be safe if you get a little on your tongue. Okay, we have our design. Now let's go ahead and start layering these up. So this goes on top of that. I'm going to use my seal adhesive. You just need a little bit in each corner unless you want to go real crazy with it. You certainly can. And then this piece, we're not going to put on quite yet, although that would be like the next section down. But what I want to do with this is I want to connect it to the gray so that it's centered. So we're going to flip the gray upside down. There is a side that is, you know, like when you cut with your trimmer, there's a side that feels more like the downside. This feels more like the upside to me. So I'm going to flip it over because I can feel the edges better here. And then I'm going to put adhesive on the white in this area, just in these sections here. Okay, I don't have adhesive on here. We just want to connect it to this piece. So we're going to flip the whole thing upside down and we're going to hold it steady and center it like that. Now we'll flip it over and we have our gray piece centered on there before we add this to the base of the card. So now we can go ahead and add seal adhesive here. If you have a top and a bottom, you want to figure that out now. And then you're going to just go ahead and center this, looking like everything's lined up. You're going to center that right there. Okay? Thanks, Laura. And then, oh, all the way from Airdrie, Alberta? Cool. Thanks, Sophia. I love it when you guys tell me where you're from. Okay, now these pieces here, again, you could use the flip sides if you want to, but I do prefer these sides. So I'm going to go ahead and add this piece next. And again, you just need a little in each corner, but sometimes I go crazy and I use more. So that's going to go on the front. And this one is going to go here. Okay, so it's a little different than most cards. Most cards you put the sentiment over here and you put the design throughout, just like Lori did. I mean, that's where most of our minds go. Where did her card go? So she did her designer paper here, and this is where you would sign it. But I don't know, I guess I wanted the leaves close to the leaves. So that's the way I did it. So that's going to go here. Okay, so I told you guys about the awesome kit. We didn't use the markers yet, did we? So I want to pull out the Stampin' Right markers, and we're going to come back to this piece here. Remember I cut that one earlier? Okay, so we've got our markers ready. We've got that because I want to show you something a little different that you can do on the card before you actually assemble everything. So I'm going to make sure that that's set aside. By the way, if you have a demonstrator or you know, you live in another country, you want to reach out to somebody who lives close to you or who is your demonstrator to get the starter kit. We do have Stampin' Up! In lots of different places in the world. If you're watching from the South Pacific, New Zealand, Australia, or Canada, or Europe, there's a lot of Stampin' Up! Countries or people that are Stampin' Up! Demonstrators in different countries over there. So you'll want to make sure that you're connecting with somebody in your area. If you're in the US, you can reach out to me, or of course, if you have a demonstrator, reach out to them and get the starter kit through them. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our adhesive. I'm just going to put a little bit there on the gray, and then on the back side of this, I'm going to slather on, not all over, but on the left side and the right side. Oops, it got caught up here. There we go. So we have one on this side and one on this side. And I'm going to line this up with the lines of my grid paper, and I'm going to look at my of you, because those are very straight words, and I'm going to make sure that they are going in the opposite direction, okay, perpendicular to the line of that vertical line, right? So they're going this way. And then we can flip it over and we can add some more adhesive to that straight edge. And we can bring these together with just about a little over 1/8 of an inch, about 1/16 of an inch is what I used to get that look. Do you see that? So I made this circle layer look like it's an oval layer because I do not have like these little tips of sticking out, and I just widened it in the middle here, all right? And if you flip it over to add this, then you can see that it's not a kitty wampus oval, right? You want to make sure that it's an oval that layers left and right with your piece. Let's add that. We're going to add it with dimensionals, which I had here. They are somewhere. Oh, here they are. Okay. I don't have my adhesive caddy over with me right now. It's on the side again. So I'm going to put one on the top and one on the bottom. You can put more on there, but the reason why I'm adding the top and the bottom only is because I think it'll be just fine. Plus, I want to slip my leaves within, okay? So we're going to go ahead and add that to the left panel, making sure that we're not upside down, adding it to the left panel like this so that I see about the same distance here, here, and here. Then we're going to go ahead and add this piece, and what I've done is I've added my glue into a precision tip bottle. Peel off any dried glue on the tip there, and I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive to the bottom leaves, the bottom two leaves, and the top one I'll just leave free, not only because it's going to go off the edge of my card here, but because it just gives it a little bit more shadow underneath. So that I'm adding here, and then these I'm adding on the opposite side. We'll do the same thing. Multi-purpose glue normally comes in a container that looks like this. Tombow multi-purpose is what it's called. Okay, and then this one is going to go underneath like, sometimes I sing when I like, okay, there we go. When I'm slowing down, I sing it. Do you guys sing when you're crafting? Do you watch TV when you're crafting? Do you listen to audiobooks when you're crafting? What do you do when you're crafting? Or do you just like to craft in silence? Okay, so I only put glue on the bottom portions of those leaves. So there we have an almost finished card. The last of it is some embellishments. And these embellishments are not part of the free stuff that you get with the kit, but when you get the kit, remember you choose in the US up to $125 worth of product. This could be part of that $125 worth of product. They are called the 2024 through 26 in color shimmer gems, and I am almost done with them. Like, they are on my list of what I need to order on Tuesday when there's a free shipping day. Did you guys hear about that? Free shipping day on Tuesday. In the US, the special money amount is $75 before shipping and tax. So you place an order for Stampin' Up! Product on Tuesday, the 21st, and then you get free shipping, right? That's the day, right, you guys? I better check. Yes, Tuesday the 21st. Okay, so I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool, and we're going to go ahead and use that to push and lift up this gem, and then push and lift up this gem. Now you get free shipping with a starter kit, so if you wanted to, you could get the starter kit now, and then on Tuesday you could place a demonstrator discounted order, just saying, and get free shipping and your discount. Just saying. Okay, so there we go. There is our finished card. I'm going to show you the other versions, and then we're going to do that little thing that I told you with the markers. Okay, so here's our pretty in pink one. Thinking of you. This one says thank you on the inside. This one, thinking of you, miss you. Our peach pie one, thinking of you, happy birthday. I love this stamp set because you could do thinking of you and then any other sentiment to kind of go with it, right? Thinking of you, so excited for you. On this card, I have these little speckles. How did I get the speckles? We're going to grab our other ink pad, which is our Shy Shamrock, and I need to quickly clean off that stamp. No, I'm kidding. I won't lick it. Okay, it's good enough. We're going to ink it up, and we're going to stamp it randomly again, just to give that initial look here. I won't do the whole thing. Okay, and now I'm going to show you what I did with the marker. So you have your markers. They have two ends on them. They have a brush tip and they have like a bullet tip. Okay, so this is great for signing your card with love. Okay, and then you can write whatever you're going to write. You can also do little, fine coloring with it. This side is the side I use the most because I like to color with a very fine tip. Like it comes down to a tip, right? But what's also great about this is that you can take the cap and you can put your brush tip inside the cap, and then you press against the cap as you're holding it firm, and you flick the tip out. Don't do it too hard or you can ruin the tip, but if you do it at the right amount of pressure, and I'll show you in just a minute here. I'm aiming it kind of down onto my... I'm not real skilled at this. I have a friend, Alana Worf, who taught me this, and I was just like, wow, that is so cool. Okay, oops, that's a mistake there. I actually did that with my marker, but can you see the speckles on there? That's what you can get with doing that. It's so cool. There's a little bit of like ink left right on the inside of the cap, but who cares? So there we go. Ignoring that little mark there, you can see the effect that you can get with markers. You can also take your markers and you can color, and we'll just do it with this one. You can color directly onto your stamps, whether they're the red rubber stamps or whether they are the clear photopolymer ones like this. You can color directly onto them. And you can get that multi-toned look, okay? There's so many things that you can do with markers. So it's worth it to gather up, and that one's really light, so I'm not sure if it's gonna show up, but let's see if we can stamp that down for you. Ta-da! See? So pretty. You can get multicolor looks by inking up your stamps with markers. In fact, that's how I got started with my supplies of products. When I first became a demonstrator, I got all the markers so that I had, in a sense, an ink pad for every single color. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to a few other colors. We have, or not few other colors, a few other products that are in these colors. So the 2024 through 26 in colors will last, they will last the 2 years. So 2024 is when they got introduced. They're going to stay around for 2 years, and then they'll be replaced by the 2026 through 28 in colors, okay? So, but every year they bring in a new one because we also have another line of colors that's 2023 through 25. So next year in May, they will get rid of those and they'll replace them with the 2025 through 27, if that makes sense. So there's always some families that are overlapping each other. All right. You use the black marker to speckle. It does, you know, yes, the darker the color, the more contrast that you will get. Thank you, Nancy, for that tip. I believe it also works with the blends markers too. You can do that with blends markers. So we do have blends markers in the colors. These are alcohol-based markers though. These are not part of the freebies, but you could certainly add those to your kit or your order that you place on Tuesday for the free shipping, I should say. We also have these ribbons in those colors. So if you wanted to, you could get the bordered ribbons, and you have like all of this coordinating stuff, right? All at once. Another thing that you can get are these embellishments. So these embellishments are called the in color resin dots. So you can see there's a couple different embellishments in those in colors. I did share a set of cards a while back that were made with the, what did we call this paper? Thoughtful Journey. This is the Thoughtful Journey designer paper, and I used the bordered ribbons and those shimmer gems or whatever they're called on these cards, and I did them in all 5 colors. I do want to show you one other card before we go, and it is a beautiful card that features all 5 colors together. This was a swap card that I got when I was on the incentive trip in Mexico at the beginning of the month, end of April, beginning of the month. This card, really fun, isn't it? This is made by a demonstrator from France. Her name, and here it is, Virginie, oh gosh, and I practiced saying her name so many times. Virginie Julien. Virginie Julien from France. I hope I said it right, Julien. I hope I said your name right. Virginie. Anyways, she and I connected on Facebook just recently because I was so in love with her card, and I should have asked her if she could give me the pronunciation. She does her videos in French, so just so you know, she's going to be featuring this card this week on her Facebook channel, and then she said she's going to download it and upload it to her YouTube channel. I put the links for those 2 areas in my blog post. So you'll be able to get information on making this full card. But I just want to show you the initial tips here. So what she did, and then she'll show you the rest because it's amazing. But she took blending brushes with the ink pads, and I tried it out. And at first I was like, oh, I don't know if I did it right. But I want to show you. Let's just see if I can do this here. We're going to start with the green, the Shy Shamrock. And then we'll move to the Summer Splash. Then we'll move to the Petunia Pop. So she kind of put them in like a rainbow order because these two combined make a real beautiful deep purple. And then she used the Pretty in Pink, and then she used the Peach Pie. So I'm just lining them up in order. I'm going to grab my little mini blending brushes. And actually I started in the middle. This is a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece. I started in the middle and I just did, and I know it's dark in some places, and that's okay because we're going to get rid of the brushed look. But this is what she told me. She used blending brushes, and this is what I did when I experimented. So I just added the color like that. Maybe I added too much color, I don't know. Then I went to the two sides, so I did Summer Splash next. I'm liking this. Oh, and this paper, by the way, is the Fluid, I think it's called Fluid 100. It's our watercolor paper. Try not to overlap your blending brush area too much, or you might pick up this color onto this, because this is, I don't know, I haven't worked with this paper too much. Maybe it won't happen. Let's go ahead and overlap. We'll just go ahead and do it. Yep, it's not picking up. We're good. All right, so then Shy Shamrock, she went in over here like that. And again, I guess you can overlap on this paper. I need to use it more. I'm so much of a fun fold / paper pumpkin girl / kit girl. I forget to do techniques sometimes, but techniques are fun. Even if they're messy, they're fun. Maybe that's why I shy away from them. I don't know. Now we're going to go in with the pink. Pretty in Pink. Oh, you guys, look at, I'm messy today. What's happening? And then we're going to go in with the Peach Pie. Alrighty. So let's add that. And now I'm going to close up the ink pads because it would be horrible if I spritzed water on them. No, it wouldn't be bad, but we don't want to do that. So we're going to close them all up. And you can see like it kind of gradually gets softer as it goes up here. I think that's what she did too. I don't know. Okay, now I'm going to bring in a spritzer, and I'm going to put it on, I'm going to put everything on top of my cleanup pad here, just to kind of catch some of that water. And then, this is what I think she did. She just started spraying it, and it started to bleed and run together. And I did a sample one before this video, and it actually turned out really cool once it dried. See how dark it is? And I was like, oh my gosh, it's way too dark. That does not look like the way I want it to look. That's what this one looked like before it dried. And you can see it's softer. It's more closer to this now. So it dries a little bit softer, just so you know. So that is a fun technique. You see the little fingers of color up there? That's what I think she got in those little spots. Okay, and then do you see the speckles? I'm thinking she did the same thing that Alana taught me, where you use the cap and the brush end of your marker and you flick it. So let's see, I want to make sure that they don't come too far into the paper. And you can, kind of dab off any excess water. I like doing it over this thing because it creates less mess. So I hope you got inspired to go and watch Virginie's other video that she has either on her Facebook page or when she brings it to her YouTube channel. Again, the links are in my blog post, so you can check that out and you can see how she finished and created this beautiful card. She may have even done this differently, but this is what I'm guessing. I just got so excited about it, I had to at least introduce the idea to you. Okay, I think we went through all the news. Again, special on the starter kit happening this month. It's all through the month of May. You can access information on my blog post or reach out to your demonstrator if you have one. Click on the My Community, or what is it on my blog? I'm trying to remember what it's called. Join the fun tab, and you can click there. You can get the starter kit through that, or you can click on my community and learn more about what it's like to be on the demonstrator side of things. What else do I want to tell you? Trying to think. Oh yeah, we have the free shipping day on Tuesday for orders that qualify. Remember, tax and shipping is not included to get to that $75 mark. You'll figure it out once you get to the cart and you're trying to close it all out. If you don't have free shipping on there, it could be that your subtotal isn't at 75 yet. Yeah, that's it. And let's give a big thank you to Trisha Josephs and Lisa Marshall for coming in to help today on this special live. I hope that you got inspired by the new in colors. Even if you're not getting the starter kit, I hope that these colors just intrigued you even more after I made these cards. I hope you learned a new fun fold or gained some tips and ideas. I don't have anything else to announce except for I do my lives every Wednesday, consistently, pretty much every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. So you can catch me every week. And this next one is going to be on May 22nd at 11 a.m. I think I might be showing some paper pumpkin stuff. My kit is supposed to come tomorrow. It's so hard for me, you guys. I admin the Paper Pumpkin fan club page on Facebook, and it's so hard because I see everyone getting their kits like on the 15th, 16th, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why do I always have to wait so long? So I empathize with all of you that have to wait long for your kits, but mine is coming on Sunday. I hope to create with it and share with you ideas next week. Any other news that I want to tell you? I would appreciate any thumbs up, any sharing, any likes. Comment away if you're watching the live afterwards. Let me know that you watched it. Chime in, say hello. It's fun for me to get to know my viewers, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you for supporting me in my business. And now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.